Good day and welcome to yet another edition of our program, How Chevron Nigeria Limited is underdeveloping its host communities with special focus on the two models, IRDC and CICD. In this episode, we shall be looking at the component of even the execution of the said initiative. And now, there is an aspect of it which marginalizes directly the intellects in the host communities. Now, to make this possible, one of the things that the major ethnic groups in Nigeria who have seized powers in the company have done is to create the idea, to create the impression that those in the Niger Delta region are not intellectually capable, of doing some of the basic things that the company contracts out to people from other regions of the country. With specific reference to the issue at stake, for over 1 decade, what has happened is that even though Chevron has set out a huge sum of money for the implementation of these two initiatives, most of the consultants that are brought in to deliver on these are consultants from other parts of the country. Now, it is not the case that people from this region are intellectually bankrupt. The truth of the matter is that the impression is just created and it is very false. We went to the same universities. We have people from Ishekiri, from Ijo, and from Urubu ethnic extraction that distinguish themselves excellently well in the course of their studies. With all sense of humility, I am one of them. I know of a lot of others. So let us not deceive ourselves with that impression that indeed from the Niger Delta region, we don't have people capable of doing most of these jobs that are contracted out. On the one hand, you say you have given, for example, 10,000 by way of corporate social responsibility to the host communities, and you contract out 3,500. So it shows that in essence, what you have actually done is to leave behind 6.5. Of this 6.5, I have said a lot of things on how these are being expended. They are being expended whimsically and capriciously by the Mugabes, whom the company have identified as the leaders. Now, even though in a democratic world, even though the minority have a role to play, the majority are the ones that dictate the tone and not the minority. It is only in an apartheid system that the minority dictates the tone. We find a situation where these people come from the different parts of the country and they still deplete the so-called corporate social responsibility budget that the company purports to have set aside for the development of the host communities. Now, let us assume without conceding that indeed we all in the Niger Delta region and from the host community are bereft of the intellectual capacity to deliver on the consultancy services associated with these two major initiatives put in place by Chevron Nigeria Limited. Let us bear in mind that these models were conceived by Chevron. And as I have said in a couple of clips we have had, that when the company conceives this model, they simply bring it down, get those who can easily key into it sheepishly, and then stamp it. So the point is that let us assume for once, like I have said, that indeed we do not have the mental capacity, which is perhaps, the greatest insult you can give to a people. Now, for a period of over 10 years, if you bring those who have capacity and evoke the philosophy behind the local content law and local content statutes, which is come in, develop capacity where there's no capacity, and then graduate the developed capacity to the standard, to the level that the imported capacity have attained. In other words, by the time you import these so-called gurus from the different parts and bring them to a region that is populated by dunces, identify a few of the dunces and attach these dunces to the so-called gurus and allow for a process, put in place a process of step down that will enable those who are dunces to learn from those who are gurus. But all this I've said is just assuming but not conceding that we do not have the capacity. The truth is that we do have the capacity in abundance. And it beats my imagination that a company as equipped at Chevron would not give consideration to all this in engaging services of consultants. Now, and this is not isolated in this area. Even in the area of employment, you find situations where we from the region, we who are indigenes of the host community, are tagged as lacking the capacity and the wherewithal to perform the tasks, the jobs that are available in Chevron. And what simply happens is that during even youth service, more of those who are from other regions are engaged, preparatory to their being fully engaged in the company. And so the odds are against us. And it is time for us to open our eyes and see. Because at the end of the day, these people will come, benefit from these resources, and go back to their region. I have also said in one of the clips that when you look at the other regions, the degree of depletion of their environment is far, far less than ours. And some of these things are like chemical reactions. They are irreversible. And so, from whom much is taken, to whom much pain is inflicted, it accords with logic that more should be given to them. It is a right. And the whole essence of this is to wake us up. It's a wake-up call on all of us to stand up and realize that our environment is being depleted fast. It is not the case, like I have said, that once consideration is given to us, that it will solve the depletion of the environment. It will only ensure that we do not suffer double jeopardy. And the case should be, and I pray, that we should not suffer double jeopardy. Like the white man says, lightning should not strike a place twice. The environment is degraded. The company that is operating here is working so hard to ensure that we are deprived. And the level of underdevelopment is alarming. Therefore, there's a need for us to come together. There's a need for the company to realize what it is doing. It may be possible that it is doing it inadvertently, or it is doing it because we are not speaking. And that is the reason why we must, as a matter of fact, speak out. Thank you for listening and continue to be with us. May the Lord bless you and bless us, bless the Niger Delta region. Amen.